I've always been more into the zombie genre. Like you said, vampire was yours, zombies mine. Because I have a deep irrational fear of like, oh, that shit could happen.
Thank God you said irrational.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to erotic, and I don't know why.
My erotic fear.
I have a deep erotic fear of zombies.
Like, thank God.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, they did the cast. They did the hateful cast. Fuck you guys. Once again, shit all over my opening.
I love it. It's like, I get the reference.
They did the cast. They did the podcast.
There you go.
There we go.
You got it out that time.
There it is. There it is.
It was a graveyard smash. No?
Yeah, I like it. Good job.
It was the monster cast.
I don't want you all to die. And
Yeah.
I want you all to just drop dead and then come back to life like 3 days later. And scene.
I stayed alive. Fuck both of you.
I stayed dead.
Welcome back to the Hateful Geeks. And it's October and it's spooky. This week on the Hateful Geeks, we're going to be starting our October theme of stuff that's scary.
He said with a question mark.
Stuff that's scary? Is it scary?
God damn it, who put the question mark on the teleprompter?
You know he's going to read it.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, welcome back to Hateful Geeks. I'm one of your many hosts, Phil.
And this is Sweeney.
Andy.
And this is TM.
Just Andy.
Just Andy.
Count
Andy. I'm all sad and mopey, just Andy.
So, as we all know, October has come finally, and this is the month of scary movies and kids trick-or-treating and people eating razor blades and their candy bars and stuff.
Whoa.
I got dark.
And your faithful Hateful Geeks are going to give you a little tip every week, excluding our Venom review, which is coming up next week.
Yeah, Venom.
Yes, Venom. Yes, but we're in that vein. We're going to be talking about like films you should probably be checking out if you haven't already for your Halloween season. Maybe some of these don't show the kids, but some of them probably are. Maybe one or two are all right.
Show them. It's fine.
Show them. Traumatize your children.
I saw Halloween when I was 5. I turned out fine.
And,
Did you though?
So this week our scary movie topic is going to be vampires.
I come to suck your blood.
Get in your best Bela Lugosi voice.
And Andy's come to suck the fun out of our party.
Was that your evil laugh?
Sure.
That's not how you evil laugh. This is how you evil laugh.
This is better.
I wasn't really trying.
I wasn't either. That's
I was
just my
just trying
normal
to be
laugh.
goofy.
I liked
Fuck
it.
you,
Son of a
like
bitch.
like actual the character to Goofy. Like
I can't do it goofy.
So
we're gonna kill Andy by the end of this episode. By the way,
Andy's not. So before we get started, everyone, Andy is not a big fan of scary movies. He's not a horror fan, and unfortunately, I think when he was younger, his brothers might have screwed with him when they were watching like a scary movie at some point. But bear with us. We're trying to get him into the spirit of Halloween.
Listen. Every time you watch a horror movie, the bad man's in the TV. It's fun.
And
listen,
then he comes out while you're sleeping.
Yeah.
It's just not The Ring.
So one of the most popular genres of horror films is the vampire movie, and it's seen like hundreds of different iterations and what the different tellings and ways to talk about vampires. But I think we should go over some of like what are the best vampire movies out there for the Halloween season. Like, what should you be watching that you haven't watched?
And what he means is we don't mean Twilight.
No.
That's not a fucking vampire. Let's get that out of the way now, gentlemen.
That's why I brought it up. I just wanted to get like out the door, like knock these away.
Burn it with fire.
Stephanie Myers was interviewed, and they asked her what sort of research she did on vampires when she wrote the novels. She literally said none. That is a direct quote, none. I didn't do anything. She has never once looked or read a vampire novel. She's got no experience with vampires. The Twilight iteration of quote unquote vampires is dog shit.
I mean, it wasn't obvious at all.
Unacceptable. Not a horror film unless you count the acting as being horrific.
It was.
Do vampires sparkle? Yeah, sure. Fuck it.
Fuck it. Sounds good. Sparkly.
No. We're bringing like the flesh-eating, blood-curdling murder beasts of the night. We're talking like 30 Days of Night vampires.
Yes.
Also a comic book adaptation. Has anyone or any of you guys familiar with the source material 30 Days of Night? Tim has.
I have read it.
Andy, Sweeney. You've never read?
I knew it was. I don't know that I actually read it.
No, I never read it, but I knew it was.
It's actually a pretty...
Is it a graphic novel?
It is a graphic novel. About 5 or 6 issues, miniseries. Very, very true to the source material. The movie was very close to the original books.
Freaking tastic.
Also, the artist, I think it's Ben Temple Smith, and like his art really fits the story. Just really.
What a name,
Temple Smith. Yeah.
Ben Temple Smith.
Right.
I like 30 Days of Night mostly because the vampires are what I always think them to be in my head canon. They're monsters. They're not like tragic heroes or lovelorn, like boo-hoo, look at me. They're like, yo, let's just go eat a town.
Like, oh, you have to invite me in. No, I don't.
No, they don't. There's no rules in that world. It's the only thing that's true is sunlight, UV radiation kills them.
Right.
Yeah.
Stake through the heart, head cutting, all that stuff works too.
None of that, like, I have to sleep in the soil of my homeland.
Oh, the Bram Stoker originations of vampires.
No, but I agree. Like, I think when I saw 30 Days of Night, I thought like this is vampires. Like, in a way, it kind of like brought in like the zombie apocalypse kind of fear of vampires. Like, because we never really had that. I don't think before we didn't really have like a series like that was like vampires, like just this wave of destruction. It was like, oh, there's one vampire. There's like a few vampires, and they just do what they need to do to get by. And I kind of referring to like, you know, Blade or Underworld series, that they really weren't like, they were trying to blend in with the humans, not so much always just be destroying the world.
It's a kind of a unique concept. I mean, nobody ever thinks about how that there's like a whole month of darkness in Alaska and even in Antarctica as well. Like that 30 days of like pure darkness, like that'd be like heaven for a vampire. And this book and this comic and this movie like explore that. And that scene where like the distraught couple, because like the one guy who's got a drinking problem and like the wife is like in the kitchen and she's just like, how am I gonna get through this month? And then like the fucking like something just comes through the window all of a sudden and she turns around and it's like this pale, this white, bald, just fucking blood splattered, razor tooth fucking guy. Dude, just destroys her, just eats her and like pulls her out of the house, and it just turns into this huge like murder riot in like Alaska.
It did. It really does. And it like, I think I mentioned this to Andy like a while before, or maybe you guys as well, but I always thought that'd be like one of the best like group cosplays to do, because like it is like literally you can just do whatever you want. You can be yourself, but you can be like this version of like you know, like the blackout eyes and the sharp teeth and just blood stains like all the way down your face and just like pale skin, and it just looks menacing. It's just terrifying.
The like ridiculous like razor claw hands. I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost inhuman. Or vampiric, if you will.
And it had
That's what I'm here for.
Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett, and I can't think of who plays his wife. Crap.
Some girl. Doesn't matter.
I think I know the guy who plays Colonel Stryker from X-Men is the main.
He's like
vampire.
the head vampire.
Yeah, head.
If there's like the pack leader, I guess.
Yeah, I remember. In the commercial, just the like, what are you? And it's like, no God, and it's him.
Oh, and he said like, he says like, no God. And he said, no God,
no God. That's what it was. Yeah,
and
it's. I would definitely not show the kids 30 Days of Night.
Don't show the kids this one.
Yeah, no.
And just like the screams they did, like that, like weird communication. I don't know. It's like they had these weird screams. I'm waiting for Andy to talk, and he's not doing it.
Yeah, screams.
I'm just waiting for an opportunity. I do. I like 30 Days a Night. Like you said, I love the look of their eyes. Like when they're mostly blacked out, they look hollow. Everyone says that the eyes are the windows into your soul. So when you look at them in their eyes and you just see pitch black, and they're just blood soaked. Yeah, I'm gonna shit a brick when I see one of those coming for me.
Yeah.
It's
Unlike
frightening, isn't it? It's
fucking
different than like another vampire.
Anne Rice's Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt coming for me.
Interview with the Vampire.
Yeah.
That's a good segue, actually, because I'd like to talk about Anne Rice vampire movies. I still like the
I like
Anne
them.
Rice school
I like
vampire.
what they are.
I've seen Interview with the Vampire and I've read the book. It's been a long time, but I have not seen Queen of the Damned.
Queen of the Damned. All right. Obviously, so Tom Cruise was not Anne Rice's first choice to play Lestat in Interview, though from what I understand from interviews, after she saw the film, she actually calls Tom Cruise and says, "Hey, I apologize. You did a great job."
Yeah.
Because it's not what she really envisioned for the character, but Queen of the Damned, like they completely recast Lestat. The guy who plays Dorian Gray from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Townsend, I think.
Stuart Townsend?
Stuart Townsend, thank you. Yes.
Stuart?
It still continues the world of Anne Rice and explains like the history of vampires, but it's a lot more rock and roll campy.
Yeah, because if I remember right, Queen of the Damned takes place before Interview with the Vampire, like bits of Interview with the Vampire, right?
Not even close, my
okay.
friend.
My bad. Because I thought, for whatever reason, I thought that like, no, I think I'm misremembering then.
Talking about like Aaliyah, Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Poor Leah passed away during not from the movie. Like she didn't pull a
Right
Brandon
after,
Lee.
wasn't it?
Right after.
Like
Like a plane crash.
One piece of trivia that I actually just found out about this the other day about Interview with the Vampire, the movie, was Christian Slater was his character was originally supposed to be played by River Phoenix, and then River Phoenix passed away.
Yeah, River Phoenix had a drug overdose in Johnny Depp's fucking club.
Yep,
The Serpent Lounge.
Damn it, Johnny.
For some reason, I thought I was misremembering where like when Christian Slater's like interviewing someone, I thought it was like after Queen of the Damned, but I think it's been forever since I've watched.
So Interview of the Vampire is Louis's primary story, who was turned by Lestat during like the 1800s in the South. He's a plantation owner, and it's them like basically like coming to terms with vampirism, because I guess they were some of the first generation vampires in the United States, and most of the old world is where so they didn't know any other vampires. Queen of the Damned is after there's a scene at the end of Interview where Tom Cruise Lestat is like, helicopters and technology, I'm scared, I don't want to be here no more. So Louis like, it's just technology, man. He's like, will you help me? He's like, fuck you. You damned me to this life of immortality. So at that point in time, Lestat's character goes into a sleep, like a long vampiric, like I'm going to go lay in a coffin for 100 years. I'll see you when there's flying cars, deuces. Queen of the Damned opens up with him being roused from his sleep by rock music that is being played from the old plantation that burned down, that he and Louis lived in. And it's Lestat like coming out and basically saying, fuck it, I'm going to go public with being a vampire, and I'm going to be a rock star, because I guess because of his vampire powers, he can rock a mic and drop that shit. Can't play no instrument, though.
Turntables and a microphone.
Sure, Anne Rice.
So he becomes a modern celebrity, and of course that pisses off vampire culture, and they all basically try to hunt and kill him. And then the first half of Queen of the Damned is the vampire Lestat, and the second half of Queen of the Damned is the book Queen of the Damned. When Akasha, Queen of Vampires, basically wants to take over the world and like basically eat all humans for breakfast. Interview was a great film. Queen of the Damned suffers narratively, acting. It suffers from a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, the Anne Rice novels are going to be picked up for a TV series.
I did hear that. I don't know by who, though.
I think it's FX. It's either FX or HBO, but it's probably FX.
They need another vampire show.
I think FX did it.
FX did it.
FX did it.
I mean, they already had The Strain.
That's true. They do have The Strain, don't they? Have you watched that?
It's a good Guillermo del Toro book.
I thought it was a unique twist on vampires.
I have not watched it.
Where it's like vampires like a virus almost.
It's a blood disease.
Yeah.
It's worms.
Well, I thought it kind of, I guess, it depends on how whatever, rendition you're watching of vampires. Because sometimes they do it as like you're being poisoned or infected by the vampire. That's why you become a vampire. And some of them do. It's like they turn you just because they're supernatural.
Because it's like a choice.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their favorite school of vampirism. That's something that like is better than the others, I guess.
I think it kind of depends what you grew up on, right? I mean, for me, as when I didn't read a lot as a child. It shows, so I mean, it's cool. But I didn't read a lot of the books as a child, and I didn't watch I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to watch Interview with the Vampire with Brad Pitt because that sounds awesome. When I'm
Brad Pitt is sexy,
right? No, so like my first introduction to like a vampire film was Blade.
In Blade, and you know what? Technically a Marvel movie,
Right? Exactly. Yeah. That was like my first introduction to any of the vampire genre.
I like Blade.
Was Blade. I saw like Wesley Snipes being a badass. You know,
the dance where the blood comes out of the
blood rave.
The sprinkler, and it just becomes a feeding frenzy.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool,
epic.
Yeah, I was like, this is vampires to me.
Blade 3, fuck off.
But
you're dropping elbows from the rafters.
But it had Ryan Reynolds, and did you see his body?
But it's got Ryan Reynolds, Jessica Biel, and Triple H.
So bad.
He pedigrees a motherfucker.
So bad.
And what's his face from Prison Break?
Dominic Purcell.
Thank you. As Dracula or Dracula.
Let's if we're gonna talk about Blade, let's stick with the first two Blade movies, please. Let's not talk about Blade Trinity.
Yes.
So they did try to bring in the Night Stalkers, which was kind of cool. They were trying to expand the Blade supernatural universe in the Marvel world. But
they wanted to try a Night Stalkers movie, probably.
I like the Blade movies. At least the first two. Like the first one's villain Frost, Deacon Frost.
Yeah.
Played by
Stephen Dorff.
Stephen Dorff, thank you. That's a great fucking villain.
Yeah.
He's Lamagra, he's gonna summon the vampire god and become like an avatar of like the vampire god.
I thought their final fight was just awesome.
It was.
Some motherfuckers always try to skate uphill. God damn. Why are you skating uphill? Like, really, Wesley Snipes? That's a weird final line before you kick a sword in somebody's chest.
It's a weird analogy.
How does one ice skate uphill? Is that a thing?
Aren't we supposed to get a Blade reboot?
Probably.
That'd be kind of
interesting.
I mean, I hope it's without 60-year-old Wesley Snipes. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry.
No, it's going to be a full.
Well, who do you think? Okay, so then that vein, who would be your Blade now? I mean,
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx
is probably around.
Well, he is Spawn. Yeah.
He's going to be Spawn.
Then I don't know. And let's get an unknown. Fuck it.
It probably would be like an unknown.
Are we all going to like just go get Michael B. Jordan again?
Oh yeah, always Michael B. Jordan.
That'll probably be.
How old is Idris Elba?
He's like in his mid-40s.
He could do it.
Well, I mean, it's going to be MCU.
Yeah, true. He can't be both.
No, he can't. I said no.
Chris Evans did it, sort of.
The cool thing about Blade, though, was in the second Blade movie, they have the clone generation of vampires, which is a lot like the Strain version of vampires. Right. They have like the prehensile, like
the tongue.
Leech tongue.
Yeah.
That's that kind of vampire always has seemed kind of like it's definitely horrific.
Yeah,
but not. It doesn't feel true to vampire
it feels
nature
like
to me.
A parasite. Like it's more like an
alien.
That's what, alien.
I like that.
The Strain one like kind of freaked me out a little bit because like the jaw opened up like a fucking Venus flytrap.
Oh yeah,
and then just
that little mouth shot out.
Like, nope.
And they had like they evolved to like their like chest cavity protected their heart.
Yeah,
and, like all that crazy shit.
The worms, like they can enter any part of your body, and like if they go in your eye, it's like you become a super vamp. Like
the eye thing kind of freaked me out because like I have a thing like touching my eye and all that, but when they had the close up of like the worm going around like the socket and the eyeball, I'm like, nope, stop.
That Cronenberg body horror shit always gets to me. I can't.
Like it takes a lot for me to look away from the TV, and that did it. Like because they did that a lot at the beginning of that show, and I'm just like, stop it, please. Fast forward.
And they also fed on other vampires too. It wasn't just like because like normally vampires can't feed on vampires because duh.
The blood is corrupt.
Right.
It's actually. I mean that varies from vampire school to vampire school.
Yeah.
Well, like,
some of them.
I think some of the old school like vampire stories like they didn't have bodily fluids, so they didn't have blood or like anything.
I mean, if you want to go super old school, we're talking like Bela Lugosi, Bram Stoker, and all the other vampires in that story were like his hoes, like the vampire like queen ladies,
or
like the harem,
or what he does to Renfield, and he just makes him just his slave.
Right.
It makes him a ghoul.
A ghoul,
I believe
yeah,
in vampire
ghoul.
culture, it's called a ghoul.
Yeah.
It's when you feed someone vampire blood, but they themselves do not drink any blood.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't like kill anyone, or they don't get fed off of.
Yeah, like
And it's like,
because he
you're
feeds
my
off of like
slave.
insects and stuff like that. And
Gross.
yeah,
What was then they what was that? They did another Dracula, but it was like
Dracula 2000.
no.
Dracula-
I'm talking about
Dracula
like the
Toe.
old school.
they
like,
did like the version like where it's like he becomes Dracula and he like does it to protect his family and it's like a war movie. What is
Dracula Untold.
Dracula Untold. Yeah.
Ah, yes, that one. That
Yeah,
one.
it's with the guy who plays Gaston in the new in the live
No
action.
one sucks blood like Dracula.
Beauty and the Beast.
It doesn't. You can't do that.
No one turns into a bat like Gaston, and he's fat like Gaston. Ugh.
Yeah.
I
So
know, it's an all right movie.
it's like I was saying, I think like whatever your favorite like version of vampire, usually what you were brought up on, right? Like you have like your favorite, what you hold on to. Like for me, it was Blade. I don't know. I mean, you guys, Phil and Tim, you kind of seem more.
Mine first introduction to
Mine?
My
Oh
first
God,
in-
the seagulls.
my first
Mine.
my first introduction to a vampire was the Bela Lugosi Dracula movie. I go old
Like
school.
classic, like black and white.
1931.
Yeah. Like creeping around the.
Yeah,
What
like,
about Nosferatu?
I saw that later. Like I have a DVD copy of that movie. But I saw that later. For whatever reason, I do remember getting freaked out at I'm like 5 or 6, but I got freaked out at Bela Lugosi's like eyes because
it's
how
like-
quiet that movie is.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene where he's just standing there and all you hear is just like shuffling and just like a bat flying and stuff like that. And it's just eerie.
Yeah,
Gary
back
Oldman
then it was
did it
more
better.
like the absence of sound made it more creepy.
Yeah, because sound had only been around for like 2 years at that
right.
point.
So it's like you're literally watching.
That movie
something
has
really
that
happening.
movie has no soundtrack.
Yeah.
And he's
Other
doing
than
his
the
own
opening
silent movie over there.
Sound was non-existent.
There was no in film. He's right. Film had just had sound introduced to it.
And he's like,
because-
what does this you mean? I don't understand.
That's when we called them the talkies, see?
I remember those days.
Andy was there. He was in the theater.
You are a goddamn Abe Simpson.
Goddamn talkies.
It's all Charlie Chaplin
And then I think after that was maybe it may have been Monster Squad actually.
Jesus.
Love Monster Squad.
It's two so like extremes
Right,
of
like,
like
you-
black and white Bela Lugosi.
like classic art to like
Monster Squad.
campy child.
Give me the amulet, you bitch.
Wolfman's got nuts.
When the mummy came in my room.
I'm trying to think like maybe after that was probably the Francis Ford Coppola Bram Stoker Dracula,
Yeah.
the one with Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
That one's pretty good. But the problem with that movie is it's got Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder in it. But it has Anthony Hopkins and Gary Oldman in it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the fuck?
a good
Like,
balance.
I'm not gonna lie, like Gary Oldman and his makeup and like the fucking like
The hair.
the
hair.
the fucking hair in that
butt-
movie.
butt cut?
Yeah,
Butt cut?
it for whatever reason that butt cut freaked me out when I was like
the,
6 years
the
old.
ceiling crawling.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was kind of creepy. The women and like the ceiling and like
yeah.
mhm,
And
yep.
and I'm gonna go one Dracula extreme, Dracula Dead and Loving.
Oh God, Leslie.
with Leslie and Mel Brooks' last movie.
Let's keep it scary and keep it real, sir. Like, we're not.
So what about you, Phil?
No, I like
talk
Hotel
about vampire
Transylvania.
movies.
Yeah. So what about you, Phil? I feel like you're more like the classics, but you could throw me off here.
I'd say vampire genre is probably my favorite genre of horror film, only because like I get like a lot of like the blood fear mentality of it, like ew, like what's in the blood. A lot of my favorite vampire films aren't mainstream. Like I love Anne Rice and I love like Blade movies and shit, but I really like the remake of Fright Night.
Sorry.
I haven't seen the remake. I've seen the original.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I don't know if anyone else heard Andy's quiet, just little murmur of Lost Boys.
Lost Boys is an eternal classic. But the thing about Lost Boys that irks me is they don't go into they
Lost Boys
barely talk about it.
glamorized vampires.
Yes,
You watch
Yeah.
Lost Boys, and instead of being afraid of them, you're like, I want to be a vampire.
Yeah.
I want to get fucked by Kiefer Sutherland.
Whoa,
What?
whoa, whoa!
And this episode just took a dark turn.
Thank you for tuning in.
The last time we saw the Lost Boys, there was a friend of Sweeney's girlfriend that just very, very much upset me.
Yeah.
Oh, please publicly talk about it on our show.
Oh, yes, please.
I don't care.
No, I mean,
no,
like, yeah,
I'm saying really
I'm
do it.
encouraging.
We did a horror movie night, and we were trying to figure out what to watch. We're like, oh, Lost Boys, it's on Netflix.
Well, you gotta we don't just do a horror movie night. We do drunken scary movie night
every time there's a Friday the 13th.
Yes.
So we were trying to figure out what to watch, and Lost Boy was on Netflix, and she didn't want to watch it because, and her quote was, because it was made in 1987. Bitch, I was born in that year.
She asked, is this in black and white?
Is this movie in black and white?
I don't find that fucking funny. Like, you allowed this person to remain in your home?
Oh, no, we razzed her consistently.
The rest of the night.
Ugh.
And then I pointed out her terrible taste in men.
You should point out that her parents failed her if she had any parents.
Yeah, it was
to
bad.
begin
Very,
with.
very bad. Very bad.
Oh my Lord. Anyway, yeah, Lost Boys is awesome, Andy. I agree completely. But you're right. It made me kind of want to be a vampire.
Yeah.
And that was like the way they became a vampire was like a ritual, right? Like
sleep all day, party all night.
What are they, the Beastie Boys?
That's the actual
that was
line
the
of
tagline to the movie.
It's the tagline of the film.
I'm just saying, like, sound like the Beastie
Good job,
Boys.
Andy.
Yay.
Did it.
But also, a fun fact: one of the Lost Boys in that movie is Bill from Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always forget that every time I watch it.
Well, you have the Bill, and then you have Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
And then you have
Jason Patrick's
Jason
brother
Patrick.
that's like trying to be turned.
Yeah.
Technically a Corey film.
Both
Corys are in that movie.
Yeah.
I almost said the guy from the Goonies.
Corey Haim's the younger brother. You got Jamie Gertz as the love interest.
Yeah, which is weird.
I love Lost Boys, but you know what? Some of the more obscure vampire films are amazing. Priest.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone remember that movie? It's sort of like a sci-fi, futuristic, Wild West vampire film.
That is also a comic book adaptation.
Yes, very cool movie. Then your Vision is the main character, Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, wait, like Vision?
Yeah, Paul Bettany is the main vampire hunter priest.
Yeah, that was
Not
a good
just a
one.
clever title.
I think I've seen that. I remember the face.
If you haven't seen Priest, I would definitely check it out. It's not a mainstream vampire film. And if you like sci-fi, like dystopic futures with vampires in it, it's definitely a fun flick to watch. I recommend. It's not even a scary movie; it's just a cool action flick with vampires in it.
Vampires.
Obviously, 30 Days of Night is the tits.
Yeah. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have From Dusk Till Dawn.
I don't consider that a vampire movie. What? Let me explain why. They're snakes. They're reptilian vampires. It's like they're were snakes. They're not vampires.
They're vampires.
They're were snakes. Fuck that. The first half of that film
but there's
is
a cop gun. Come on.
I know it says it's a Robert Rodriguez film, but I feel like the first half of that film is a Tarantino film. And then the second half is a Robert Rodriguez movie.
Tarantino produced it.
It has what's his face?
Clooney.
No,
it's got Clooney.
No,
it's got
Clooney.
Quentin Tarantino in it.
No. I'm thinking. Sorry, let me think here. Machete.
It's also got It's got every famous Latin person ever in that movie. Salma Hayek, Cheech Marin, Machete.
What is Machete's name?
Machete. That's
That's not his name.
We're calling him Machete.
We're calling him Machete.
Let it go. But no, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't. The only cool thing about that film is like the fucking stake on a jackhammer weapon. That was cool.
They had a lot of fun, like little things in that movie. Like I told you, like the belt buckle, like
Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo, thank you. The belt buckle, like cock gun that pops up.
Cock revolver.
Yes.
I know it is. I'm being stubborn. I know it's a vampire film. It just, to me, it just feels really out of place for a vampire movie. Like it's sort of like a Twilight, but on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Right. It's like
so not vampire. It's just.
I mean,
different.
it does. The majority of that movie does feel like a Western almost.
Yeah,
it does.
They made more than one, didn't they?
Yeah,
they
were all like
several
straight to
TV
video.
series.
I think there's like 6 of them, and they're all straight to video.
Wasn't there like a TV series?
There was, I think, on El Rey Network.
Yeah,
when El Rey Network started.
But they just kept going with it. Like, let's just keep this train.
I mean, Robert Rodriguez has Robert Rodriguez owns El Rey Network, and he owns.
Oh, so he's like, this is my network?
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Make a TV show out of my movie. Fuck it.
Fuck it. It's happening.
Yeah.
So there's the original Fright Night from the 80s, which is
Oh yeah, we're back to that.
See, I like Fright Night. I mean, Roddy McDowell's the crusty old guy is funny.
I never saw the original Fright Night, right? Never did. I remember seeing like the video like cassette in like Blockbuster.
Like the poster.
Yeah.
The poster's kind of iconic.
Yeah, I've seen the poster. I've seen that like
the house with the cloud.
Yeah,
like the face above it. Yeah, I've seen that.
The remake is really good, and I'm not really, and I'm super asshole when it comes to like remakes versus originals. I'm always like the original's always better. Not in this case. The remake is superior, and it didn't get a lot of like love. Like nobody went to see this movie because it's got Anton Yelchin and Colin Farrell in it, and they're both. This is like the height of their careers as far as I'm concerned.
And David Tennant.
Yes, one of the Doctor Who's is in this movie.
Who was the kid in this one?
Anton Yelchin.
Was it Anton Yelchin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nuclear vessels.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that's right. He did die, didn't he?
It's bloody, it's violent, it's gory, and it's like there's got some good jump cuts, scares, and the type of vampirism in it is classic but new.
Right.
I don't really want to blow that. Like it's a different way of talking about it. And like the last 10 minutes of that movie are some of the best vampires I've seen on silver screen. I love the remake of Fright Night. Also, hot chicks everywhere. It's Vegas. Like there's just hot ladies that turn vampires everywhere.
So like I was thinking like, wait, where else could we go with this? And I'm thinking, what about Van Helsing? Like,
are we talking about the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing?
Yeah, like the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing.
So that's like a grown-up version of Monster Squad, as far as I'm concerned.
It really is. But you have like true vampires where they look like people, and all of a sudden they turn into like flying, bats with,
I saw it when it came out, and I don't think I've seen it since. And that's like 2004, 2003.
It was a long time ago.
A long time ago.
It's funny hearing Hugh Jackman just do a straight. Okay, so he's Australian, right?
Right.
But he does an American accent as a German vampire hunter. What the fuck, Hugh? Where was your acting coach that week, bro?
Yeah. I was excited for that movie too because it was the same guy who did the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. I enjoyed the first one still. I like the first one.
The Mummy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't really like the Mummy Returns and
all the other Scorpion King and
the
Dragon Emperor or whatever the fuck. But like I still like the original Mummy movie.
Oh yeah. And what about the new one with Tom Cruise?
No, that's terrible. I watched it. And y'all need to burn it with fire.
You watched it?
Yeah, I did.
Why? Why would you torture yourself?
Andy, weren't you telling me that like that the Tom Cruise movie, the new Mummy, was supposed to be like
it was
the start of like their own dark universe?
Is your name Andy, Tim? No, it isn't.
Whoa!
Andy? Did you not tell me about the Mummy film being the new MGM?
I'm sorry, Andy. I didn't hear him say Andy to start his sentence. Apparently, I'm a rude fuck.
Yes, the Mummy was supposed to be the springboard to Universal's dark universe, which was the Mummy, Frankenstein, Dracula, Wolfman. They were bringing them all back, and it sucked so bad it has killed the entire universe. Yeah. All movies scrapped.
They even had like casts for
all
them.
of them.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp was supposed to be the Invisible Man, and which I'm not saying is good. I'm not saying is a good idea.
Isn't he like?
He would be
don't get me wrong. I'm straight, but isn't he supposed to be known for like being like you want to see Johnny Depp on film? I don't know.
Who's the hitman in No Country for Old Men?
You're asking a lot there.
Javier
Bardem. He was supposed to be Frankenstein's monster.
Really?
He looks like fucking Frankenstein's monster. That makes sense.
They would have had like
keep that bowl cut.
Gross. Actually, you know what? Fucking Thanos would make a really good Frankenstein's monster.
Well, I was thinking, guy who did that Hellboy first,
Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron Perlman.
He's like 70 though.
He would be fine.
It's pretty old.
He was already the Beast for years.
I know, right? It's good. It's fine.
I mean, you had a Robert De Niro Frankenstein. I mean, people act the shit out of that. Anybody can do it if they do it right.
How about that? Fuck.
If Robert De Niro can be Frankenstein's monster,
because
Kenneth Branagh can be Frankenstein.
Thank you. Yeah, and Kenneth Branagh was Dr. Frankenstein.
I love Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but fuckers, We're keeping it vampires. Keeping it real.
All right, so more vampire movies, right? So Andy, what's like your your foray into vampires?
I would probably say 30 Days of Night was when I finally enjoyed what I was watching, because I did. I grew up with two brothers that are 8 and 10 years older than me. So I was younger than my son now. I was probably 7-ish when I saw Faces of Death.
Oh, God.
And watching
Fucking what?
That
Poltergeist
explains a lot about you.
and Night of the Living Dead. So I was like, I'm not a fan of horror films. And then once I was open to watching it again,
Which was last year.
yeah, like Blade, 30 Days of Night, Interview with a Vampire, that area. I've always been more into the zombie genre. Like you said, vampire was yours, zombies mine. Because I have a deep irrational fear of like, oh, that shit could happen.
Thank God you said irrational.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to erotic, and I don't know why.
My erotic fear.
I have a deep erotic fear of zombies.
Like,
But
thank God.
to me, zombies has
That's
now been
necrolicious.
so played out that I'm ready for the vampire to come back. I think it's time for vampires to return.
It has been a long time since we've got a good like vampire. I mean, we had Blade for a little bit there, it was good. We had Underworld, which was a good series of vampires.
Twilight murdered the vampire genre
It
for
did.
a lot of people.
Like
It
how-
shot it right in the dick.
Batman and Robin killed the comic book movies. Twilight killed the vampire movies.
So it took a nice break, man. I mean, and you're right. We had like a huge slaw of zombie movies. We had Walking Dead. We had Zombieland. We had the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Like zombies have had their time. Yeah, 28. That's zombie.
Rage zombie. Sorry, rage zombie.
Rage,
Yeah.
rage
It's in
violence
that-
movie.
It's in that genre. No, it's close.
Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of
Yes.
I love that movie.
Yeah, so like
but no, I think that zombies have had their decade, and it's time to go. And I don't know. I don't think werewolves have ever really had like a
No.
you had like your American Werewolf in London and
Paris.
early
in
80s,
Paris,
late 70s.
and then you had again Underworld kind of had.
See, I think what
You had-
Underworld more was. I like the vampires in Underworld.
I do
really
too.
like them. The werewolves are better.
I mean, I think you're forgetting about the cultural significance of Teen Wolf.
Give me a keg of beer.
No.
But yeah, so I mean, we mentioned it a few times now. Like you said, the Underworld. I mean, you had like the Civil War of vampires, werewolves competing over territory. It's like gang wars essentially.
It's a hardcore ripoff of White Wolf's World of Darkness, which is a tabletop pen and paper RPG. Kindred. Am I ringing any bells here?
Nope.
You non-nerds.
I mean, you're ringing bells with White Wolf. I just never got into White.
It's all about vampire clans. You play you role play a vampire. It's like
Like, I know
D&D
what it
with
is, but
vampires. They probably don't
Right,
though.
yeah.
So, I mean,
alright.
I don't know. I don't.
Fair.
Sorry.
That's basically what Underworld was. They were trying to like monetize the White Wolf vampire versus werewolves genre, but nobody was going to sit there and watch a bunch of fucking brooding emos talk about politics for 20 minutes. They were like, let's just have vampires fight werewolves with swords. Bam, Underworld.
Right. I did like the portrayal of vampires. Now you had like the lineage. You had like you had like the
Like a class system with it.
yeah, you had the class system, and you even had like the older the vampire was, the more powerful they were. Like all of that like structure. And then you had like the werewolves, which didn't really have a lineage. It wasn't like too much of a. It was more like a
tribe.
Yeah, a tribe, like a pagan tribe versus like this high class society.
You guys are literally describing the world of darkness.
Oh, I'm sure I am.
It's awesome.
I have never seen an Underworld movie.
What?
There's like 5 of them.
The first Underworld, I still have no problem saying that it probably has one of the best werewolf transformation scenes on film.
It does.
Most werewolf movies, they start to show it and then they'll pan away and your imagination leads to what is the outcome. They don't pan away.
They literally just show
Full-blown transformation and it looked really good.
Body dysmorphic. It's pretty intense.
And even like the technology, like the vampires used, that was really cool. Kind of Blade-esque. Like they had like technology to battle their opponent, and it was really cool to see that. Of course,
Silver
then
bullets.
you fucking get Kate Beckinsale in leather the whole time, in skin tight leather the whole time. So I'm like, I love this movie.
I mean, the first time you ever really saw a really horrific werewolf transformation was American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Yes.
God.
Like that's the first time like special effects hit that point.
That still freaks me out. It's like,
But
nope.
even after that, they made some pretty big werewolf movies, like Stephen King's Silver Bullet, with another Corey film. Corey Haim's in that movie, and Gary Busey. You're welcome, friends.
And Gary Busey.
But yeah, they do the pan away.
Yeah.
In that they do like, oh, his
But no, you're
eyes,
right.
oh, he's got teeth,
Yeah.
and then a pan away.
And the Underworld, it was the, what's his name, Michael? When he first gets bitten.
Lucian.
Is that the one you're talking about?
No, Michael
We're talking about
was the
Lucius Fox.
hybrid.
Yeah, but he wasn't hybrid at first. He was a werewolf.
He never turns full werewolf
Right.
at any
So
point.
you're talking
though.
about- No, I
Lucian's
think
the
it was
only.
just the first
Lucius
transformation
Fox.
you see, isn't it just like a generic?
It's the gigantic. I can't remember his name. It's the African American dude in the subway.
Yeah.
Like,
and they
he
show
squared
his
off with a
transformation.
vampire.
I thought you meant Lucius. What's his name?
Lucian.
I don't know
with
his
an N.
last name in the movie, but he's like the
Doesn't have
long-haired, like lead werewolf.
Lucius Fox.
I said that already. No.
Name is just Lucian. He doesn't have a last
Lucian.
name. I literally just watched Rise of the Lycans. I have a problem. It's October, friends. It's scary movie month. I'm watching horror films.
But the Rise of the Lycans I thought was a great kind of a prequel to that. I thought it was really cool to see like why he was so angry at like the vampires and all this stuff.
Correct me if I'm wrong because I haven't seen the movie. I'm just basing on how they're advertised, but they seem more like action movies to me.
Well, they are.
They
It's
are.
not so much
They are.
horror, right?
Yeah,
it's not like,
right.
but it is the element of horror
It's like
is
action
there
movies
because,
with horror elements, too.
right? Exactly.
Just like Predator.
Well,
is
it's like Blade is
Predator
too.
is like an action movie with sci-fi elements.
Same with
into it.
Blade. Blade is not like a horror movie,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're gonna be
humans
hard
aren't
pressed
really
to
the
find-
prey; they're just in the way.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going to be hard pressed to find a movie in any genre of the horror genre that is actually directed to be a fucking fear movie, a frightening film. Like a lot of this stuff has been turned into action. So you're going to find like movies like I, Frankenstein,
Yeah.
which is like,
Jesus Christ.
and then you're going to get movies like Underworld, but then
Yeah.
you have like your horror films like 30 Days of Night. That's a horror
Right,
movie.
yeah.
That
Or
is
like-
piss your pants,
Yeah.
watch somebody's throat get ripped out, get their head ripped off. That's a horror film.
Yeah. Okay.
But we don't like. I mean, and you guys are right. We don't have those anymore. We don't have. I think 30 Days of Night was probably the last true
What
like.
you mean with vampires?
Well, even like vampires and werewolves. Like, what's like the last?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, with
Horror.
vampires and werewolves. Yes.
That's what
Let
I mean.
the Right One In was kind of a frightening vampire movie. I would say it's
What was the werewolf movie that was like they were wolf? Was it called Wolf Soldiers?
Dogs of War.
Dogs of War.
or
Thank
Dog
you.
Soldiers. Dog Soldiers.
Dog Soldiers.
Sorry.
Like that was like literally like werewolves that were used as like.
That's just like a branch of the military.
No.
It's a British special forces team that's doing weekend training in the woods of like upper Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
And they're in the woods doing like, they're just doing like basic training, like survival training for the weekend.
Sure.
Like, and then they start getting picked off.
right.
Oh,
And they don't know what.
We watched it one of our
and
drunk scary movie nights before.
It turns out there's a
probably why I
family
don't
of-
remember it.
There's a family of British hillbilly werewolves that live in the woods that are not happy that they're there.
Why
and
is
they're
it
like,
that's the part I remember?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're in a cabin,
Yeah,
kinda, like
okay,
locked
then
in a cabin, like they're breaking through the walls.
Then I have seen
yeah.
this movie. Okay.
Dog Soldiers.
Soldiers.
Yeah,
Awesome
you're
flick.
just like, it's drunk scary movie night. Well, that's why I don't remember it.
I would like to see the vampire genre come back. My wife and I have started watching Penny Dreadful.
I love
Penny
Penny
Dreadful is very good. I think the zombie has run its course.
It
Has
has.
well beyond run its
Well,
course.
I think once they made iZombie, it was done.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that the one where like it's a romance? It's like the Twilight of zombie films.
Kind of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a TV series, and like,
Isn't she a detective?
she's actually
Oh.
a doctor. She's like a
Forensic.
no. She does like autopsies.
Yes.
No.
Wink, 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 nudge, nudge. Also a comic book.
Yes.
Yeah, she eats the brain and gets their
Like-
memories and visions.
and then she solves the crime.
It was a Vertigo comic book.
yeah,
I'm thinking of a different movie. I'm thinking of like an actual movie. The
No,
guy
this
who
is
plays
a-
TV series.
Yeah.
but I'm thinking of a film with the guy who plays Beast in the new X-Men movies. He plays like a zombie
Isn't
kid.
that? Oh shit! Warm hands or warm
Oh,
heart?
Warm Bodies.
Warm bodies. Yeah. And it's over.
Why does everyone want to fuck a dead body now? Like, why can't we just like make these things what they are? They're monsters.
Right.
Right.
Nobody wants to, you shouldn't want to have sex with a vampire. They want to eat you.
Right.
Dude, season 1 of Walking Dead nailed it, had it right.
Mhm.
Season 2, with the whole looking for Sophia bullshit aside, still
in the barn
yeah,
the whole
still
fucking
had
time.
zombies good. And then once it became zombies were no longer the antagonist of your show, and they just became background filler. It was just,
but isn't that kind of like the nature of the zombie apocalypse, right? It's gonna be really scary up front, and then eventually they're gonna kind of get worse and worse.
I've never been afraid. I think zombies are a fucking joke, dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like they're not scary to some people. I'm just saying like to me, I've read so much zombie material that I know exactly what to do in the zombie apocalypse. I'm ready. Let's do this.
Well, I think for me, like the reason I don't like zombies as scary is just simply because the lack of care for another human being, right? So like they literally tear them apart. Like you see them like literally just tearing somebody apart. Like that bothers me. Like to see another person tear apart somebody else. Like that's what bothers me about zombies. That's what the scary part is. Not so much like, oh, I'm like everyone's gonna die. It's like that whole like you essentially go back to your basic instinct of survival, and they just tear apart whatever you can eat. Like that just terrifies me.
I compartmentalize it. I think in my head, it's the same thing as like robots and like Nazis. They're not people anymore.
Right. Actually,
so if they're coming at me, I'm like, I feel absolutely no.
Oh no, I'm not talking about killing them. I'm just like if you walk down an alley, a dark alley, and you see another person tearing apart a person, you're gonna be scarred. Like that vision is gonna like stick with you. You're like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I mean, if it ever happens to me, I'll let you know.
I hope it doesn't. That's like why I think zombies are like scary. It's the whole like.
Well, we can talk about zombies, and we can talk about ghosts and all that, and ghosts and all the other spooky things.
So whatever vampire movies, I mean, have we not touched on? I'm trying to think.
I mean, we've talked about Bram Stoker. We've talked about 30 Days a bunch. We've talked about a couple like offset vampire films. We're not talking about Twilight because they're not vampire movies.
Maybe we can go into like anime. There's a lot of anime about vampires.
Yeah, Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust, and just regular Vampire Hunter D. You got Hellsing.
Yeah.
There's some that I don't want to talk about because they get on because we want to talk about the weeaboo scale. There's some fives in there.
None of these I've seen. I've heard of Vampire Hunter D, and I just never watched them.
Yeah, like I think there's like, yeah, there's.
I think that's our next anime for Andy anyway, so we'll come back to those.
Okay,
sure.
Horror anime. That's what we did.
There was vampire. We talked about vampire
anime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Andy was gonna do Hellsing and some other stuff, but yeah.
Hunter D, yeah.
We can talk. There's some funny vampire movies that I mean, it's Halloween. You know, get in the spirit. It doesn't always have to be about scaring yourself. It can just enjoying the supernatural. What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh yeah,
is a British vampire film about 3 vampires from different time periods that are roommates in a flat in London.
Watiki.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Wasn't that like a mockumentary of something else?
No, it was just in a mockumentary style.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like Source Show. They did like a mockumentary of it.
No, the movie plays out like a mockumentary.
Oh, okay.
It's like an episode of The Real World.
Yeah. There's like an old vampire that they keep locked away. Like don't let him feed or anything.
It's the Nosferatu vampire.
It's like 2,000 years old. Like they'll keep him in there. We don't want to talk about him.
Well, like each vampire that's in it parodies like a different style of vampire.
Okay.
So like Taika Waititi kind of plays like the Lugosi vampire, and then you've got like the Lestat vampire. Stuff like that.
Then you got like the modern like brooding vampire.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very funny British. It's very dry British humor. But for a vampire film, I think that's a good flick.
And
I enjoyed it.
I believe that FX is doing a show of it with Taika Waititi's help.
You know what? Fuck it, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
probably will.
yeah.
So his name is what?
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
It's the guy from fucking he's core.
I know, but I'm just like, that's his name. Like,
yeah,
I'm just like,
legitimately his name.
I'm cool.
It's a really unique name.
Well, I mean, at least his stage name.
Right. I'm just asking. Like, I mean, if his name, it's a really cool name. It's just like, I think of Porg.
Yeah, I mean, that's his voice. Yeah,
Korg.
What did I say?
You said Porg, which is
Porg?
from The Last Jedi. The little bird thing.
I'm sorry.
our generation's Ewoks.
They're all little one-syllable names. I'm sorry.
There are so many like B movie vampire films Like there's more than you could probably count. You could probably watch a vampire movie every day, all day for a year and still not see every vampire movie ever made.
I remember like going to like the horror section of like Blockbuster, and you'd have all these like titles of movies. You're like, well, I would never watch these. Who made these movies? And it's always like vampire movies or like slasher films. Like it's like who like really paid money to make these movies? Like why are there so many
B-movie slasher movies
Right.
in the 80s?
Oh my
Blood
god!
Omen Epitaph 6. The Bloodening.
I mean, we could do. I mean, we're going to do an entire episode on slashers. So
Yeah.
Fake blood is cheap.
Talk about Pumpkinhead.
Sure is. Let's. There is one vampire movie that I just watched for the first time fairly recently. I don't know how I ever missed it. It's a total sleeper hit. It was Amazeballs, and the cast is the shit. Daybreakers.
Oh yeah,
Sam Neill.
yeah.
Fucking Willem Dafoe, Ethan Hawke, and a bunch of people I don't give a fuck about. But those three, so the premise is vampires. Everyone's a vampire. The whole earth has been turned into vampires. Human beings are on the verge of extinction. Vampires are starving because of the lack of blood. And they've like corporatized blood and like everything's about being a vampire. And they all work at night and sleep all day. It is an amazing movie. And like Willem Dafoe is like a vampire who became human again. And it's like, mind blown. Yeah, check out Daybreakers.
And
that is my rant.
All right, so I just pulled up a quick list of the 25 best vampire movies. So I'm just gonna. I think we've done this before. Where I've gone through a list. And we thought they're all stupid, but let's just go ahead.
Whose list is this?
It's let's see, Collider.com.
Okay, Collider.com.
Collider.com's 25 best vampire movies. Ready? We've already talked about Fright Night, so that's already done. 24 is Vampires. Literally.
Oh shit! John
Carpenter's
Vampires.
How did I ever forget John Carpenter's Vampires? That fucking movie's amazing.
So it has James Woods, right?
Yes, it does.
Ooh,
And one of the Baldwin brothers.
Piece of candy.
piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
All right, so 23 is Byzantium. 2012.
Never heard of it.
Neither have I. Don't care. Moving on. Thirst. 2009. Never heard of it.
Nah. Next.
What We Do in the Shadows, which we just mentioned.
Word.
Fright Night remake.
That's higher ranked than the original. Called it.
Okay, this one is Ganja and Hess.
Next.
1973. No
Next.
idea. All right, Dracula, Pages from a Virgin's Diary.
I'll double next.
What
It's weird.
Who is this? Vampire's Kiss. Is that Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, that's like Nicolas Cage's first movie.
1998 or 1988. Sorry.
Before you keep going, so that Nicolas Cage movie is interesting because he thinks he's a vampire and is behaving like one, but it's never actually confirmed in the film that he's supernaturally a vampire. He's just a weird motherfucker. Good job, Nick Cage. Go on. Sorry.
Number 16 is Daughters of Darkness, 1971.
That sounds like a porno.
The tagline that goes right through it, with nudity and sexual proclivity loosened across the world's film boards. Yeah, so it sounds like a porn.
I'm going to watch this
My
for
instincts were
research.
right. Thanks, Andy.
1994, we have Nadja. No idea.
Next.
Then Blade, the original Blade.
Okay.
Let's see here. From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay.
Martin, 1977.
I don't know that one.
Oh, I think of
Why are all
Martin.
these 70s films like
I think of Martin.
Yeah, it's a
Shanae?
it's a George A. Romero film. Never heard of it.
I mean, I know George Romero, but he made a vampire movie.
Apparently,
I feel like a lot of this is this list is a lot of pretentious
It's all
film
70s.
101.
it's like then 1974.
It's only good if it's old and it
Right,
started
that's what I feel
something.
like too.
Fuck
So
off.
we have Blood of Dracula, 1974.
Wait,
Move
like the Andy Warhol movie?
Yes, the Andy Warhol movie. I'm surprised
Shadow
you
of
knew
the
that.
Vampire with Willem Dafoe.
Shadow of a Vampire.
That's a good
Fucking
movie.
dude, am I psychic or what?
But like, no, like I don't. That's a biopic. But all right, Shadow of the Vampire is the making of Nosferatu.
Right.
It's a good movie.
Yes, but it implies that Willem Dafoe,
That
who
he
played
is-
Nosferatu, is a real
Max Shrek
vampire.
was a vampire. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we have Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
We have Blade 2, number 8 on the list, by the way.
Blade 2 is higher than Blade
It
1?
is. It is.
Shenanigans.
The
Move
Addiction,
along.
which looks creepy as hell.
I don't know that one.
Look at that picture.
Check out this
1995.
Check out this motherfucker.
Only Lovers Left Alive, 2014. I have
That's a
That's
good
actually
movie.
that's got Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton in it,
I actually really
and it's
enjoyed that
actually
movie.
Really?
pretty.
Yeah.
I've
Fucking
never
cool.
seen it. Okay. You two know this? I don't. Nosferatu, obviously. All right.
Yeah, that one. Wait, that one was color. That picture was. Oh, that's the Werner Herzog one.
1979.
Yeah, it's the Werner Herzog one. Okay, I haven't seen that one actually.
Near Dark, 1987.
How did I forget about Near Dark?
What's Near Dark?
Remind me about that one.
I think is that the one with Bill Paxton? I think.
Yes, they play a bunch of fucking like Mad Max Road
Yeah.
Warrior fucking vampires. It's a weird one.
Yep. Next one is Dracula, 1931.
Bela Lugosi one. All right.
Yep.
That's just snobby. That's just lame. Like that's not just because it's old and it's the original does not make it a superior vampire. Like movies evolve, they get better.
The Spanish one they filmed at the same time is superior to that movie.
Like that's just feels like fanboyism. But please continue.
Next we have Let the Right One In.
I told you about this. This originally is a Swedish film, and it's about a child vampire, and she befriends a young boy, and they become a childhood friendship, and then he kind of realizes that she's a fucking monster because she starts killing people. But the premise is that like she's actually a lot older than she appears, and she's been constantly looking to be. She constantly goes and befriends a young boy when her previous human caretaker is too old or dies, so that she has someone to protect her because she's such a young
I
vampire.
think I have seen this one.
She can't survive on her own.
They did a remake with the girl Hit Girl in Kick Ass.
That's
Yes.
what it is. Okay. Thank you.
It's
then
actually a pretty good film.
number one, I think you probably all guessed this.
Nosferatu.
Nosferatu, the original 1922 Nosferatu.
This list did not have 30 Days a Night on it, so it was null and void.
Therefore, it is
Collider, you can fuck off.
Therefore, it is
Collider, eat my ass.
irrelevant.
I only know who Collider is. This is the first list that came up.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying, Collider is a bunch of like Film 101
It
fanboys
is.
who don't
I feel
actually
like they're
think for
like more
themselves.
like, we have to pay homage to the classics.
There's
Just
also,
because your fucking film professor told
there's
you this
also
list was right
Esquire.
doesn't mean it is.
yeah. There's also Esquire that did 20 best vampire movies of all time.
Well, just gonna go to lists now.
Yeah.
No,
The number
let's not
one's
do
30
that.
Days a Night.
Oh, well, there.
The only list that matters is ours, and we're not going to throw numbers on it. We're just going to say all of these should be watched.
Absolutely. I don't think we mentioned a bad vampire movie.
No.
I want to mention one last movie. Buffy the
Okay.
Vampire Slayer.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the original with Luke Perry.
Yeah.
So I was like
And
thinking about that, but I was
Pee
like,
Wee Herman.
that's a series, but I forgot to make a movie
Yeah,
about
there was
it.
a movie with Christy Swanson before it.
Christy Swanson.
Christy Swanson.
All right. So
Well-
you've all suffered through our vampire episode. We appreciate it.
But
If
before
we
that-
missed any, please like hop on our social media, let us know, or if you took some of our advice and checked some of these out, please tell us what you thought. We'd very much like to hear about that. But once again, it's time for Hateful.
Whoa. You can't mix up the way it goes, man.
Tim's trying to be
I can
different.
do the fuck I want.
All right. So your lovely Sweeney has been tasked.
The lovely
My what?
person that I am.
my what?
You heard me.
Wrong.
You heard me. All right.
Can I have my regular Sweeney?
Okay, I'm here. Hey. All right. So for Hateful Grateful this week on October 3rd, 2018.
Ooh.
All right. First one is there is a movie coming out with a premise that you must dance to save the world. And to do that dance, you play the video game Dance Dance Revolution.
Hateful.
Well, I can't dance, so we're all fucked.
And I'm not misspeaking. I'm not misquoting. This is literally the premise of the movie.
This has been greenlit.
This is
like they're making
They
it.
are making this movie.
I have a dark confession to make to all of you. I used to play the fuck out of DDR when I was in high school and college. I loved Dance Dance Revolution. I had the soundtracks on my fucking iPod.
I wish this glass of water was vodka.
I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful.
There is absolutely no way they'll ever get me to see this film.
If it keeps the music from the games,
Oh, it will. You know it will.
I am grateful for this. Bees, little bumblebee, don't you know you want from me? Doopy doopy doo da da, doopy doopy. Hey yo, Captain Jack, you ain't going on the railroad track. No,
Holy God.
High score.
Oh.
What does that mean? Did I break
Did
it?
I break it?
Did I win?
All right. So we've got a grateful from Phil, I think.
Dancing Phil, dance Phil.
Dance Phil. I think Andy immediately jumped on the hateful
I
train.
hated it before you were done talking.
I know.
God
I
damn
heard you. And then Tim wants to be drunk. So
Is it hateful?
I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with this is in the realm of a movie I will watch while shit faced. Okay, so
Join the party,
right,
over here?
exactly. I'm going to Tim's house.
I'm only grateful for nostalgia.
kids.
All right, next one here. Next one we have Harrison Ford joining on again to reprise his role as Indiana Jones
Hateful.
in Indiana Jones 5.
Double
I thought
hateful.
this was already a thing. Like
No,
this is happening.
5 times
It's
hateful.
happening. Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
5 times hateful.
But it doesn't have George Lucas at all.
Hateful.
Good.
Yeah, so George Lucas is not still there at all.
No, George Lucas can fuck off that franchise. I don't care. I'm sorry, but like,
But it is going to be done by what's his name that did let me read it. I actually took screenshots to make sure I had everything for this. The guy who made Solo. Jonathan
fucking
Castan.
triple.
well, I'm out now.
Is there a fucking like level above hateful that I
Yeah,
can
what-
like hate?
Why?
Fiery
Insulted.
Like, what?
I am insulted.
Insulted.
Thank
Why-
you, Andy. I am insulted.
Why bring back the guy that wrote
No.
that wrote Solo? Why?
Right.
Why?
Hey, this
No.
movie flopped. You should make
Right.
another movie.
Bad.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you our other big franchise.
To the, in their defense, like there is a room of writers. He's not the solo writer, but he is
I don't
like
give a shit if there's like a fucking like if they literally resurrect Shakespeare and fucking Ernest Hemingway to help with it.
Okay,
Fuck this movie.
I IMDb'd this guy. This guy also wrote Force Awakens, but he also fucking wrote The Bodyguard. Yeah. Oh wait, he wrote the screenplay for Return of the Jedi.
Oh.
All right, well,
And
you got me. Oh, and he wrote Raiders of
we'll
the Lost Ark.
never see this
Okay.
movie.
You may, I may. He
Have you
also
retracted?
He also wrote Empire Strikes Back.
Oh,
I am conflicted.
It's not Lawrence Kasdan.
Huh?
Lawrence Kasdan wrote Empire Strikes Back. At least the
Yeah,
parts
it's
that
Jonathan
mattered.
Kasdan.
Jonathan Kasdan.
No.
yeah.
Lawrence
No,
Kasdan.
Lawrence was
Lawrence.
the director,
Yeah.
not the
Yes.
writer.
But Lawrence helped write the Empire. Then he did the important part.
Okay. Okay. So it
Brother,
says
the shitty
screenplay.
Kasdan.
It says
He's the shit-
screenplay by Jonathan Kasdan.
Jonathan Kasdan is the shitty Kasdan. You want the good Kasdan, which is Lawrence. If you're getting Jonathan Kasdan, do not just walk away. Just walk away.
Just walk away.
I did
just
not
walk
watch. I didn't watch Crystal Skull.
No.
So I will not watch this.
And I didn't get
You know
the
what,
title
Andy?
for this one
I'm
either.
going with Andy on this one. I was stupid
No.
enough to sit down for Crystal Skull. No, I'm going over to Andy's and we're having beers when this movie comes out.
And
I'm
we
watching
will
this fucking
watch
film.
Last Crusade.
There you go.
We will
That's where
watch
the franchise
the
ends.
greatest.
Because that is the last
Yeah,
one that
that's-
I've seen, and that's where I'm stopping.
That's where
That's where it-
that's where the franchise ends for me.
That's where it
You
should have
named the-
stopped.
We named the dog Indiana. You're named after the dog? I got good memories of that dog.
Yeah, fucking
All right.
belongs in a museum.
So I think like
So do you.
I think we're all hateful.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
Okay.
fuck
This
that.
franchise should
Stop
have
ruining
stopped
Indiana
a while.
Jones.
Hated it.
Hated it. God damn it.
All right.
Man
Last
on
one, I
film.
think I might get some gratefuls. Maybe one. Maybe
Maybe.
one. Probably one. Rocksteady, who's made the Arkham series, right? Arkham Knight,
Yeah.
and
Yup.
all those movies,
Yes.
all those games,
I know
Ha-
exactly. what you're talking
has created, and it's leaked official that they're making a Hogwarts game. And this is not Hogwarts following, any of the current characters. This is an open world RPG where you are your own character and you go through the ministry, like the whole school of magic.
The 7 years of Hogwarts.
Yep.
Oh, Wingardium grateful. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Hanukkah grateful.
Yeah,
Oh
that,
my God,
that
I
leaked
can't
out.
wait.
That leaked out yesterday, I think. Right?
I think I saw the character builder screenshots for that.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but I'm grateful. Like, if not for because I'm maybe won't play it, but I'm grateful for all of the Harry Potter people like Phil,
right?
That they're just gonna bust their nut all over,
right?
it.
And I took a screenshot of the synopsis real quick, and it's like, you will battle dark wizards, goblins, and other supernatural enemies to uncover the truth about your destiny. The fate of the wizarding world lies in your hands. Like, it's literally your journey through Hogwarts.
All right, you're kind of selling me on this game now.
Yes, I can't wait. So it's an MMO where everyone's a wizard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. And there's like different schools of wizardry and shit. Like, God, I can't wait. I'm going to use the killing curse on everyone. I'm only going to PvP. I'm going to literally go to where everyone's in the middle of class. I'm just going to be like, Avada Kedavra. Permadeath. You're all dead. I am the new Dark Lord. Lord Voldemort.
Philomort. Oh, Jesus. We're going to have to refer to you as that, aren't we?
Don't ever give this man power.
I am Lord Voldemort.
He's going to turn immediately into
Bow
Dr.
before
Doom.
me, Muggle scum.
So I knew I'd get one grateful. I knew that for sure.
Right.
I didn't know I convinced him.
No, I mean, like I said, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter guy. Like it's one thing that I get why people like it. It's just not really super for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm more grateful for the Harry Potter people for a game like that coming out.
Yep.
Oh, thanks for being happy for us, Tim.
And there's Andy.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm happy for Phil.
Yeah.
I'm not playing.
Phil, I'm playing with you, boy. I got you.
Yeah, buddy. I could probably get my wife to play a video game, and if it's this video game, and if that's the case, bye. See ya. My wife and I are going to move to the Matrix.
I'm all about this game, man.
I'm optimistic that it being made by Rocksteady, so it'll be a good game.
Yeah,
I'll watch you play.
I'll stream it. This is a game I will stream. Oh, yes. And can I be Slytherin? I am Slytherin.
But yes, I'm grateful with Phil. I want this game. I want to play this game. I think it'll be a good reprisal of some MMOs. We haven't had a good MMO in a while that I want to dive back into over and over again since I think Sweater. I think that was the last one I wanted to really get into.
That's Star Wars: The Old Republic for people who don't speak Nerd.
Sorry, yes. Star Wars: The Old
even
Republic.
I didn't know what the hell that was.
Star Wars: The Old Republic, SWTOR Sweater.
Oh. I was like,
Christmas sweaters.
Sure.
I've heard people pronounce it as SWOTOR, and I'm like, that's not nearly as cool as Sweater.
Right. SWOTOR.
SWOTOR.
Yeah, I don't understand
Sounds like
people
a
sometimes.
synth band.
It's the same. It's the same assholes who pronounce Imager, Imgur, and people go GIF. Yo, dude, it is a graphic image format, not a giraffic image format.
So who'd you get tickets for? SWOTOR. That's a shitty synth band, right? Yeah.
SWOTOR.
Swoltor.
Oh God!
Now I have
a new name for my barbarians.
Yeah. I was gonna say, now we're just creating Masters of the Universe characters.
That was a good Hateful Grateful, and I think if a lot of our listeners have some good vampire flicks to add to their Halloween list, and if you're one of those people who only lets ABC Family Channel tell you what movies to watch during Halloween.
Well, then you're stuck with Hocus Pocus and Sabrina the Teenage Witch
and A Nightmare Before Christmas.
I can't shit on Hocus Pocus. My wife loves Hocus Pocus, but I delay it as late as I possibly can in the season.
That's what you're stuck with.
I mean,
And Nightmare Before Christmas is the only musical I actually like.
He admitted it.
He's never said he hates all musicals, but it makes sense that he would like that one. Because Andy's definitely like an emo goth that doesn't dress like an emo. He's like the emo goth who never went to Hot Topic.
He didn't discover Hot Topic until later in life.
He was too old when he found out about Hot Topic, so he's like all dark and brooding inside, but he can't find clothing to like make his outside match.
When I bartended at a goth bar, I was like, I got a pair of black pants. I'll wear those and a white shirt.
When did this happen?
1992.
No.
Well before I met you, obviously.
This is
early
before
2000s.
even I met Andy.
It's before I met Andy as well.
Jesus.
We call it the Josh era.
You used to bartend at a goth bar.
Yeah.
I was going to say he didn't find Hot Topic till he found out they had Funko Pops.
Yeah, Andy used to bartend at Outland, right? It was Outland?
It was called Outland.
Nerd. You dork.
Wow. All right.
Yep.
he had some jewelry that he would wear. He's dressed like a vampire. Just with black pants, though. Just white shirt and black pants.
Yep. Trying to pick up guys.
Nope.
Wait.
All right. Me.
All right.
Well, thank you for spookily hanging out with us for the evening. We'll go out and watch some vampire movies. Next week, we're reviewing Venom.
And for those of you that can't see Phil right now, his hand motions match his voice.
Christ.
I'm doing spooky jazz hands. Vampires.
Next week, I will tell you how they got Venom completely wrong.
Yes.
Oh, well, we're going to hope that the shitty reviews that are coming out are too harsh, but yeah, we're probably going to be jumping on that hate bandwagon.
We're definitely going to go into it with an open mind, but the open mind will be heavily leaning towards if it doesn't suck, we're happy.
That was one of the best reviews I read, was that said, not as bad as I thought it would be.
I think my favorite one is comparing it to Ben Affleck Daredevil.
My favorite is comparing it to a turd in the wind.
Yeah, or that like it opened up a vortex of time and space to like 2004 pre-MCU.
When Tom Hardy is interviewed and asked what his favorite scene is, and he says all of them are on the cutting room floor, it's not a good sign.
It's a bad sign. Anyway, tune in next week. Not next week, because God knows when that episode will get released.
You'll hear us sometime.
Hear us eventually for our next episode. And I'm sure at some point in time, our Spider-Man episode will be up as well. But I am one of your many hosts, Count Phil.
Sweeney.
Andy.
This is Tim.
And we are the Hateful Vampires.
I'm here to suck your titties.
Whoa!
What the fuck? And scene.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!